Hello everyone, welcome back to Crossblitz. So, for this episode I'll be tackling the second map of the Frostfall Peak, Demon Rishu. I've already kind of talked about Demon Rishu a little bit. Lots of similarities to Finlockley, slow-ish scaling, late game threats with lots of power, which synergize with the Stompy Mask and Low Health Mask. Although, unlike Finlockley, there is more of an immediate threat, because the Vital Edge will immediately cause you to take damage. There's some armor generation with the Blood Tusk. So, yeah, basically just a faster version of Finlockley. With the late game threat not coming from the Blitz Burst, but more from just some very powerful top end minions. Also, a lot of revival in there, like there are a couple of minions with Relentless, which makes removal a little less effective than usual, unless you can get your hands on some silence effects. So, actually recording this on the same day as the Lobmaster video, and I kind of wanted to try out a strategy I talked about in the first video, which is Lustra Star Scale with Blood Token minions. So on this map there is an event where you can pick up a couple of Blood Whelps, which gives Lustra a very easy entry into a Blood Token deck, even if you don't find Break in the tavern. And basically the idea is that once you get a Blood Whelp and Lustra Star Scale in one hand, the Blood Whelp can get you a Blood Token. The Blood Token is a spell that can buff Lustra. Lustra has Infinite Riff, which whenever you play a spell, summon a Dancing Dragon. That Dancing Dragon is a dragon. So, when you play a dragon spell, you want to find the relic that gives you a Blood Token, which means you can play another Blood Token on Lustra Star Scale, summon another dragon, gain another Blood Token, and so on and so on. Basically for as long as you have the mana to do so. And Dancing Dragons are minions that scale based on the power, based on the amount of Dancing Dragons that have died beforehand. So, yeah. Couple of pieces I need to get to make the strategy work. I also need some ways to guarantee drawing Lustra Star Scale. Fortunately, there is a way to tutor Lustra, which are the Metal Horns. Draw a Demonborn from your deck and summon 2 groupies in your back row. So 3 mana, tutor a Demonborn. If you only have Lustra Star Scale, who is a Demonborn in the deck, then you're guaranteed to draw into it. And the summon 2 groupies gives you some nice protection, I suppose. Yeah. You can also easily put a draw trinket on this, make this a draw 2, basically, which is pretty good. I like any sort of spell that says draw 1 on it, because with the draw trinket it becomes real card advantage. I'm also gonna pick up the Star Scale Dance, gives rupees Relentless, forces them to attack. Relentless means when they die, they revive again. The nice thing about Dancing Dragons, it doesn't say that anywhere on the card text, but the Dancing Dragon is actually considered a groupie. Basically, it's a transformed groupie. You can see that when you go through a particular relic, the chromatic keyboard, where it says when you summon a groupie from a card effect and transforms into a special groupie, which if you scroll through the possibilities, Dancing Dragon is actually the first one it shows you. So, this means once I summon 1 trillion Dancing Dragons, I can make them attack, make them resummon, they resummon as even stronger dancing dragons. So those are basically the cards in the starting deck that help me the most. For the third slot, I kind of have to consider what helps me most in the early game. So there's the groupie. Groupie is just a groupie. It's a 1/1 without any abilities. It's a bit sad to put this in the deck. To be honest, like lots of effects summon groupies, so you would like to have these in the deck so that you can summon buffed versions of groupies, but you'd rather pick up a groupie from a card board, only have one in the deck to give all the buffs to, and then summon better groupies from other card effects like Metal Horns. There is Hoopla, who summons a groupie every turn as a 2-mana. So usually the way it goes is you play the Hoopla, Hoopla summons a groupie on the turn you play it, play him on an empty lane so he doesn't die. However, the enemy will block the Hoopla, so next turn when the Hoopla attacks into the enemy, it'll summon one more groupie and then die, resulting in 3 power and 3 health worth of stats from a 2-mana card, which is okay. But once you get some buffed groupies, or give Hoopla some survival tools like Inanimate, which you can guarantee on this map, or Barrier, then you can get some great benefits out of those. And then there is Devil Corsalet. Deals pseudochronic damage to a random minion, repeats for every friendly groupie, so pretty much a board clear if you have enough groupies on the board. Pretty nice. So since Starscale Dance works for special groupies, like I know that for sure, I'm also assuming that this works with special groupies too, so could be okay to put into Lustra Starscale deck as a removal tool. Yeah, although probably not gonna go into the starting deck because then my cheapest card will be 3, which is a bit sad. Chaos Gem, draw 2 and add a groupie to your hand. Add a groupie to your hand is sometimes a little bit annoying because you're drawing and then you're kind of clogging your hand with a 1/1 you maybe don't want to play. Like only if you get it, like most groupies, you want to get through card summon effects. But there is one relic which wants you to hard cast groupies from your hand, which is the Starscale Ribbon. Starscale Ribbon, when you play a normal groupie, it transforms into a dancing dragon. So in that case, this becomes a pretty important card, extra draw, to actually get the groupies in hand so that you can play them and get a groupie guaranteed to turn into a dancing dragon. For most maps I've tried Lustra, so far this is basically what I did, like put groupies and Chaos Jam into the deck, and then try to find the Starscale Ribbons, play groupies which turn into dancing dragons, get the Starscale Dance to make him revive and attack, and yeah. But for this specific map, because there's this opportunity to get the nice blood token synergy, I want to mix things up a little bit, but just draw 2 is also pretty nice. And yeah, I think that's all of them. Oh yeah, there's Groove. Groove, I think, is a bit weak. So he destroys all minions with 2 or less power, and then converts your deaths into dancing dragons. It's a bit expensive at 6 mana though. Like the idea is, I guess, to summon a bunch of groupies and then play Groove into into groupie summons, but you're taking up your entire turn 6 at the very least. So you kind of need to have a turn 5 where you have a bunch of groupies on the board that also survive, or a turn 5 where you have a bunch of dancing dragons. Yeah, it's a bit clunky in my experience. I've tried it a couple of times, but there are faster ways to get dancing dragons. Is yeah, the short of it. 9 health on a 6 mana is kind of cool though. Just a big beefy blocker, which you do not have access to in the groupie deck. Not all that much. And on this map in particular, expensive minions will have trample, so having a chunky guy like Groove could help to deal with those trample guys. Although ideally, with the strategy I'm going for, I'm gonna buff my dancing dragons to a point where they'll just scale up to get the stats to kill the enemy or block the enemy, and then I don't need Groove. So yeah, Metal Horns for the tutor effect, Starscale Dance for the revival and extra attack. And so now the question is, what's going to be my early game answer? And my early game answer is just going to be a Hoopla. 3 power in terms of stats for yeah, 2 mana. I think that should be enough to win the first fight. Nice thing about Hoopla as well, if I am not getting the blood token deck, like if I see like, oh, there are not enough relic shops to see the relics I need, like I am specifically looking for the blood token relic, then there's another strat Lustra can pull off very well on this map, which is pick up an adventurous secondary companion, so like Lieutenant Juniper, Willy, Sonosid, Nilmi, Brass, Bang, or Break, and instead of taking the blood tokens, take the new Blitz Burst, where all minions get +3/+3. And since you're playing a lot of minions with Lustra, summoning a lot of minions +3/+3 is gonna be a lot of stats. Like if I see dual blades, that would also be something I'd be interested in. Dual bladed Hooplas, dual bladed groupies. Yeah, that's quite a bit of power. Metal Horns summons 2 groupies, so. As for my standard Blitz Burst, so there's Eternal Requiem, kill 6 groupies during your turn, and then revive every dragon from the graveyard. So kill 6 friendly groupies during your turn means you either have to get the groupies to attack with Hothead, or you need them to attack with Starscale Dance. And revive every dragon means if you play a bunch of dancing dragons, then they are all gonna come back. And since they scale based on the amount of dancing dragons that died, they are powerful, ? From the wording, I imagine that they're not actually get the stat buffs. Because they are summoned from the graveyard, so they are presumably not in the graveyard anymore. So yeah, the thing about the graveyard, like its reference in some purple cards is you can actually look at your graveyard, so it's kind of hard to determine how exactly the game treats the graveyard. But yeah, I assume that that's actually not that good with dancing dragons. But if you summon Blood Whelps. These are also dragon minions, so that could be kind of cool. You can combine Lustra with something like an Abraxas, where you get lots of dragon minions. Go for like purple synergies, or you summon like Void Ancients or Dragon Brands. Yellow technically has Dragon and the Gobblegum Whelp, although that's kind of weak to revive as a Blitzburst. However, Ziggy and Lustra is also a pretty cool synergy. Ziggy gives you 0 cost spells, which can make Lustra Star Scale work, and give you extra draw if you find the right trinket. And yeah, Broodmaster Break has a couple of strong dragons. Alternatively, Stage Dive, summon 10 groupies, fill the entire board with Crowd Surface. I mean, that's filling up the board. I think I don't want to do that on a map where the enemy will have trample. And where I'm already filling my board with Lustra ideally. So I intend to replace my Blitzburst anyway, but in case I have to keep it, I think Internal Requiem will do more than Sage Dive. Right, so let's go right in. Relic Bands, so Evolve I don't want to do, because I want my Dancing Dragons to die as Dancing Dragons. Then yeah, this section over here is usually on my ban list. Kept the Bramble Cutlass because I want to increase the probability of seeing dual blades. Rasmutus Suit is a Lustra specific relic. It's one of the relics you see on the Starscape plains for the last boss. Minions without abilities revive as Rasmutus fanatics. That's pretty good. If you're playing around the plane rupees, some extra chip damage. Necro Hammer is also kind of good with the amount of groupies that you summon. I banned the Chromatic Keyboard. It is alright. Converts summoned groupies into better groupies. However, on this map there are only 2 relic slots, and there are better relics I can find. Like the one I am most interested in is this Brooding Call. Then All Access Pass at the start of your turn, summon groupies with fleeting on a random tile. That is a Lustra specific relic. Very good if you give those groupies +1 power. Even better if you give them Hothead as well, so they can tick up your Blitzburst. And what it also does is it ticks up any sort of death-related effect. So if you combine Lustra with Milmi, that means that focus minions are gonna get their focus trigger a lot faster. And then there is the Star Scale Ribbon, which transforms normally played groupies into Dancing Dragons. I left that as an option in case I don't find the event on the map that lets me play into the Lustra Blood Token strat, and then I can just pivot to the normal Star Scale Ribbon, which I prefer over the All Access Pass. Yeah, and I kind of prefer that over the Rasmutus Suit as well, because I like having groupies with Hothead, and Hothead is an ability that would disable the Rasmutus Suit. But yeah, ideally I am dual blading. Dual blade would not apply to the Dance of Dragons, however, with 1 mana reduction, it would apply to Lustra Starscale, which Lustra Starscale in itself is a pretty strong card. Lifesteal Barrier with 4 power, which is more than you expect from a 3 mana. You can also get like +3 -1 in the training ring. Perhaps get trample as well. So one way of playing Lustra is just super buffing the Lustra itself and get the Metal Horns to put it on the board down fast. Get some kind of mana reduction, get dual blades, kill the enemy fast. Also Rush is a trinket that Lustra can put on, so right. Let's jump into the map. Full Shrine. Oh, so there is a Shiver pool, but it is very late, unfortunately. Comes before the second elite, and the boss. So if I want to go for the blood token strat, I'm gonna have to find Broodmaster Break in the Tappen. However, there is something else I really like about this path. Steel Drake's Den and Frostfall Ring on the same path, leading into the elite. That's pretty good because Steel Drake's Den can give me trample on something, and Frostfall Ring can give me +3 power, -1 health on something. I do need to keep in mind that I need to find aggressive, adventurous, or humorous if I want to get to trample here. If I find adventurous, I might also still want to go to the Shiver pool for the Blitzburst replacement. As for the early stage, Razor Sprout, I'm okay about skipping. Can be difficult if you don't find board clears. Famished Fish is not the scariest fight in the world by any means. Often sabotages themselves by playing Famished Fish, which absorbs stats from nearby minions, but in a lot of cases the Famished Fish will eat something that would have attacked, and then Famished Fish will have Summon Sickness, so it won't attack itself. So that's right now. Steel Drake, then Trading Ring, late elite is the most appealing path. So early on, Temple Garden could give me a copy of something. Ramen Shack could give me Renewable Barrier. There's an early Trinket Shop. I can actually have a path with 2 early Trinket Shops. So if I see dual blades, I can aggressively search for a mana reduction for Lustra. Kinda like that. For my first fight, I think I'll just fight the Famished Fish. And yeah, Hoopla is my main source of damage here in the early game, so I'm happy with just getting as many Hooplas as I can. so this has 3 health now. So guess I'm doing the dance, so this dies. Or at least if it doesn't die, it's gonna get blocked, but since it doesn't absorb any minions, it will die. And why do I take 3? I'm just gonna metal horns. And next turn, I can Star Scale Dance. So I find Devilcore Dance, where it transforms groupies into Devilcore groupies, which are just 3 power, 1 health. That's pretty good. Chaos Gems for extra draw and groupie generation. I don't know if I'm going into playing groupies just yet. Low Life Fisher can be okay with damage buffs. Not interested in it right now. Brown Tooth is also not interesting right now. Bombers can be okay. Just some decent removal spell. Yeah, I think I'm just happy to pick up some removal spells for now. That's just generically useful, and yeah, before I know what I'm doing, I'm gonna look at the tavern. Get Solar Sid, Wick, or Parsley. So Solar Sid is an adventurous minion. So that would give me the potential to get the ult. However, Solar Sid doesn't really synergize with Lustra very well. Solar Sid wants to eat minions to absorb their stats. Lustra Star Scale spams a bunch of weak minions, so I don't really care about eating those. It's also one of the worst beneficiaries of the Blitzburst replacement for Adventurous. Then Wick. Kind of just okay. Stab and Grab is the main benefit from his deck. Budding Pickpocket is okay as a kind of removal. Brigade Cadet is usually something that I want to burn at a campfire. Evolve is interesting. I mean, I'm summoning a bunch of minions without an ability. That is kind of a good target for Evolve, but also they're going to evolve from 1 mana to 2 mana minions. That's not that great. None of these options really woo me. If I were to pick one of those, I would probably pick Wick. I do want to pick something, because if I'm going for Lustra, I need the money to give her the buffs. So looking at one reroll and this, so I could go for trap cards. Trap cards is a little bit conflicting with Lustra. So the thing with traps is you need the space to play them, and I want to fill my board with as many groupies or dancing dragons as possible. It's also kind of more of a slow deck, whereas groupie is pretty aggressive and fast, so this doesn't mesh well together as well. Sen, I don't see anything that like works for or against Sen. They're both just kind of doing their own thing. Juniper is okay. Poison Buff Grenade has some good utility. Juniper has Adventurous, so maybe I want to pick up um, the Blitzburst replacement. Don't want to spend a second reroll, because I'm gonna need those at the trinket shop. And Spore Whisper, which gives me poison, does allow me to trigger the Lustra. So let's see where I'm going with this. Kind of like either two trinket shops, or like trinket campfire, look at one relic. So 2 poison relics and a star scale ribbon. 3 noxious arrows, 3 removal spells. I mean, I guess that kind of works with the Infiniriff, but I don't know how much use I'll be getting out of this for this game. Instead, there's the Wild Blood Charm, immune to poison, and when I play poisons, I add them into the enemy hand. If I want to go into the poison deck, that's pretty good. It means the Spore Whisper is effectively add 2 poisons into the enemy hand, or transform groupies that are played into dancing dragons. That one doesn't really do much for me, because I don't have any groupies in the deck, like any that I play on my own. So I think I'll go for the Wild Blood Charm, pivot away from Lustra, play into poison instead. So maybe get the Blitzburst replacement, see where that goes. Which, because of that, I kind of like going to a couple of campfires. Could even go to as many as 3. Burn the Hoopla, burn the Dance. I can keep the Metal Horns. Metal Horns could still be good as draw. I can still buff Lustra. I want to see trinkets. What's my trinket prospects looking like later on? There is one post-mid-boss battle, which is always a good place to look for trinkets, because you're getting a lot of money out of that boss battle. If I am going for the Blitzburst replacement, I could either go to the Steel Drake or the Tinker Shop. So what would Steel Drake actually do? Give me trample on Grovekeeper? That's not good. So I'm probably skipping the Steel Drake. Going to the mid-post trinket shop. Yeah, I don't think that there are any early trinkets that are fantastic. I just wanna purge my groupie cards now. Later trinket shop also means that I'm gonna see more cards where I'm actually interested in putting trinkets on them. So yeah, this Spore Whisper, add a poison, play a poison, add another poison. Now the enemy takes 2 poison damage. Start spawning rupees. just summon even more groupies. Still hasn't played any of those poisons. So that means... Oh, now he plays it. That means that the enemy is dead, actually. So yeah, I can make the groupie kill the front minion over here. And then I have... Oh well, it has summoning sickness. That's... So the enemy is almost dead. But I'm not taking more than 6 damage. And I have another Star Scale dance. Yeah. If I didn't have Evil on the board, I could play the Wolf Keeper. But I do. I can even force it before my turn ends. Gonna have to get some overkill at some point. But there are some poison and neutral cards that could do that. So there is self-damage, which this gains stat based on how much damage you took this turn. This gets extra buffs whenever you take damage. So these are both payoffs for self-damage, but I don't have any self-damage enablers. There is actually a cool synergy between self-damage and poison. The Vibblood Charm does prevent me from taking poison damage, yes. However, I could try to aggressively look for the Mobile Bell, which makes spells cheaper, in exchange for causing you to take damage when you play them. Which, if you combine that with the Malfunctioning Robot, for example, there is a spell where you add 2 poisons into your hand. It costs 2. So you're playing this for 1, playing 2 free poisons. So for 1 mana, you're dealing 6 damage to yourself. And then for 2 mana, you play a 7/7 with Hothead. Or you have a Corrupted Guts, which gets 3 extra blueprint casts from that extra, from that self-damage spell play. And in addition, you're also super flooding the enemy hand with poisons. So, as a not the worst perspective pick, there's definitely some potential here. This would just give me another Poison Puff Grenade, which is just a good spell. Serene Herb, if I want ramp. Do I want ramp? I don't have anything to ramp towards right now. Petal Mage for some healing though could be cool. Rage Bolero for 5 mana, give your minions +2 power. So if there's some way to fill the board, that's alright. If I pick the Blitz Burst, which fills the board with Crowd Surfers, that'd be a good spell. Summon enough groupies, fill the board with 1/1s, play the spell. The riff effect is gain +1/+1, so turn the 1/1s into 4/2s, which is definitely a lot more concerned than just a bunch of 1/1s. Or double close at deal damage based on the amount of groups you have on the board. So that's not something I'm interested in. Definitely gonna pick the Poison Buff Grenade. Petal Mage for healing is okay. Not gonna pick the Serene one, strangely. Usually I like this one a lot. But yeah, now I'm gonna start purging Hooplas and Starscale Dance. And then depending on what I find in this combat, I'm gonna clone a good poison card or look in the shop for good poison cards. So yeah, those are gone. And now that I don't summon any groupies really, gonna get rid of the Saskia Dance, and Metal Horns is still fine because it gives me Lustra. Probably did weaken my deck in the short term, but Zeus is relatively easy. And the health is low enough where the poison damage will help out a good bit. Gonna keep one Metal Horns to get Lustra. Gonna keep all of those poison cards. Yeah, let's just take one. Give the enemy 2 poison. The enemy plays one of those poisons, so I'm gonna give him one more. Doesn't play any poisons. So I think I'm gonna summon my Lustra. I want to keep these in hand and play them when they add poison, not when they get buffs from poisons. Still not playing any poison. I think I want to block this lane. That's a little bit too much damage for my liking. Nice thing is that well, that guard doesn't do that much because poison deals 1 damage. And guard can't reduce damage from 1 to 0. Board state is looking a little bit questionable though, I will admit that, but I can add 2 new poisons, which will also trigger Lustra Star Scale. Yeah, nice. So there's the synergy between poison and Lustra. Allows me to summon Dancing Dragons. And you know, the enemy dies, question mark. This is 2, this is 1. Because of guard. So that's 3 damage. No poison in the enemy hand. I can give him 1. Which would mean 4 damage. I think 4 damage is really good here actually. Setting up a big kill for the next turn. Getting rid of the guard minion. Well, I'm not getting the overkill, I guess. But I am killing the enemy. So yes, they played a very big minion. Which also filled up the board. Preventing me from playing any damage spells, but I mean, from dealing any damage with my minions, but yeah, the poison will just do the job. That's what I meant with when the enemy have low health at these early fights, poison is gonna be enough damage without a concrete win condition. the enemy had more health, that would have been kind of scary, dealing with this a trample. So please show me some poison cards. No poison cards. Got it. Stone Virus gives something fleeting, which means once they attack, they'll die, like the minion. Pretty good spell, if you can block the minion. However, on a map where expensive minions that I wanna virus will have trample, that's not particularly useful. Rootskin Ancient's okay. Toughness Barrier is just a pretty valuable minion. I could pick up to 3 bomb riffs. What am I gonna do with this many bomb riffs? I think having 5 bomb riffs in the deck is kind of overkill. Like, I kill all the enemies and then what? I think I'm just gonna pick the Rootskin Ancient. Barrier is kind of a good thing to have to work against the trample, and then I'm gonna look at the card shop. So some interesting things. Wild Aces, always good. Removal spell that scales based on the amount of times you play it. Wretch can buff up my minions. Here's another Devil Dance, which I'm no longer interested in since I'm not playing anymore. Groupies, Devil Salad, also not interesting for the same reason. Metal Horns, I have enough of those. However, Slush Hex, add 2 poison to both players' hands. I don't get hurt from my own poisons, so this is 2 mana, add 2 poisons into the enemy hand, and then on the next turn I can add 2 more poisons into their hand. Vileshade Phantom, Rush, and discards all poison for stat gain. Not adding enough poisons yet to make that work. Like right now I would have a turn 8 play where I play a Slush Hex and a Vileshade Phantom. Get +4/+4, so that's 6/9 Rush. I mean, that's something, I guess. What I'm really looking for is there is an 8/8 dragon with flying that gets cheaper when poisons get played. Dragon is also kind of interesting because I can revive it with my Bliss Burst if I'm keeping. But yeah, I'm definitely adding the Slush Hex. Am I removing anything? I don't think so. Juniper is good if I find Hothead, which there's still ample of opportunity. Lustra Starscale is good because it's a Demonborn I can fish for. It's a card I can buff. I now even have even more spells to trigger the Riff. So I'll pick up Wild Aces and Wretch. And I guess I'll pick up Vileshade Phantom. I'm not happy about it, but it might be necessary. And then if I see a good relic, I can pick that up here. Although I'd prefer to get the free relic after the Deadly Battle. Vital Edge. After you play a spell, deal 1 damage to a random enemy minion. When I'm playing things like Slush Hex, it's like 3 spells in 1. This is like a spell. There's also Mushmucker Cauldron, when a card cannot enter the enemy hand because it's too full. they take 3 damage. Right now I don't have enough poison to make that work. Like, if you have a couple of slush axes, overfilled enemy hand, they take damage from the extra poison, they take damage from drawing cards even. But yeah, I can't really make that work. All of my minions have hothead. That's meh. I don't have death triggers or trample that benefit from hothead. Yeah, I think Vital Edge is pretty good though. This make me a little poor going into that mid-post trinket shop. But there is another trinket shop towards the very end. You can just skip the Steel Drake then. Fighting Thundersaw has a lot of removal going on, lots of Frost Spells combined with Trouble Source. Since my main damage source it's gonna be poison, that shouldn't be too concerning. I think I like keeping the Bomb Breath. I don't need Well Shell Phantom and don't need Blitzking Agent. So I'm gonna add some poison. This dies, which doesn't matter. Drawing the Wretch is pretty nice. Wretch gives you a minion in your deck and buffs them with a trinket permanently. Some nice meta scaling basically. So I drew my Lustra Star Scale, so now the Metal Horns don't do anything, but yeah, I think that just means I play the Lustra. It might die, but it does have barrier, so it can survive one removal spell. Like this. Yeah, that's nice. So now I can play a Spore Whisper. Add a poison. Add a poison. That's 3 poisons. And the enemy opts to spend all their mana on playing those poisons. I think I'm gonna keep up the momentum here. Play the Slush Hex. So, yeah. I guess in this fight, the overfilling the enemy hand relic would have been really good, because that would have been 6 damage with those 2 poisons, and then when the enemy draws a card, another 3 damage. But yeah, now I have to keep those poisons in hand, otherwise they don't do anything. It is nice to get rid of the enemy duel though. So I'm gonna play Wretch while I have the chance. I can buff health on Phantom, which doesn't matter, buff health on Pedal Mage, which doesn't matter, and buff health on Bootskin Ancient, that could be okay. 3 health on a tough minion, plus 1 health matters most on a cheap minion like this. I think that's fine. Now the enemy dies from poison damage. Like this. Alright, another Slush Hex. I quite like. Morosaur make spells more expensive. Don't really like that one. It makes my own poisons more expensive, and I want to play my poisons so that they can go into the enemy hand. Mushfellow Archer. I have criticized this card in the past. It's just not that good. When the deals damage to the enemy hero, add poison to the hand. We played this before. It doesn't really have anything because it has summoning sickness. You get lucky and it survives at 3 health. But the enemy blocked this thing, and 2 damage is not enough to get through whatever this is blocked with. So you're not even adding a poison. Or if it does not get blocked by some miracle, you add 1 poison on turn 5, which, I mean, this gives the enemy poison on play. This gives the enemy 2 poisons with the relic I have. This gives the enemy up to 4 poisons. It's just too expensive, too slow, doesn't add enough poisons to really do anything. Mosh Pit, summon 4 groupies with +1/+1 fleeting at rush. Would be a way to kill the enemy, I guess. I think I'm just gonna pick up Slush Hex. No fancy trinkets, but that's okay. Slush Hex is pretty good. And it does work with the Vulture Phantom, which is kind of my only late game win con right now. So flying health and start of game, draw this. +1 health is not interesting to me. Honestly, should have banned that probably. I mean, the reason why I keep +1 health on this map is because you can combine it with the +3 power, -1 health. Which, if you put it on a 1 health minion, means that minion would have 0 HP and immediately die. And you can counteract that by giving it +1 health. Basically, I have +3 power distributed across 2 trinkets, which is pretty good with like the trample you can get as well, built into things like dual strike. But yeah, that's not really what Lustra or the poison deck is doing. Flying would make the Wild Shell Phantom better, because it so with Rush it's guaranteed to get 1 attack off. Then it potentially gets blocked, and yeah, it's kind of disabled. Like its attack is disabled. And with flying, however, it can get a second attack and deal a bunch of damage. And because it has a lot of health, it is pretty likely to survive to turn 2. So yeah, I think I like flying on the Wild Shot Phantom. The draw at start of game is probably best on one of my shop cards, either the Wild Aces, so I can guarantee some scaling on it, or the Wretch. Which I kind of like putting it on the Wretch, so it means once I get to turn 5, I can definitely get my trinket buff. And even when I'm kind of done with trinket buffs, it's kind of just a redeem, just pick whatever is most versatile at the current moment. Potentially lets me fetch a Wild-Shot Phantom or something. So I think I'm happy about this. 90 means I still have money to spend if I do 1 reroll. What would I want? Guess some buff for Lustra is still okay. Hothead for Lieutenant Juniper. draw on Metal Horns. Although at this point I'm probably gonna burn the Metal Horns. Once I draw Lustra, those don't do anything. I don't have any buffed groupies. And I can get Lustra with my Wretch as well, if I want to. So yeah, let's spend one more reroll. Plus 3 damage. Is that something I can use? No, no. No extra damage. Guard is here though. Guard could be okay. Thorns is also not too bad. I kind of like putting Thorns on the Grove Keeper. Low power, just kind of mitigate those lowest stats. Make more favorable trades. Yeah, I'm out of mana, but I think I prefer that over Guard. Makes me take less damage, but I don't know what minion I have that I can guarantee to stay on the board for long, so let's go to the campfire, burn the Metal Horns. Copying Wild Oasis is also an option. Kind of getting extra copies of Wild Aces is useful because it means more scaling, and they always shuffle themselves back into the deck, or at least when you get kills, but that's kind of the goal. So adding one kind of disproportionately increases the density of Wild Aces in the deck, because the more cards you draw, the more those extra Wild Aces will get back into your hand, and just as your deck's getting thinner, the rate at which you are redrawing those Wild Aces is accelerating. But without the Draw Trinket, I think I kind of want to get rid of those Metal Horns. They are a pretty dead card. Currently, they still summon 2 groupies, but I didn't find any groupies to buff, so get that out of here. And then, yeah. Go battle, card shop, new Blitzburst. Card shop's definitely appreciated. More slush access. Maybe find another Wild Ace, maybe find a Gyric, like a big lifesteal minion with beefy stats. And yeah, my next battle is going to be Blossom Apprentice, which I'm not all too concerned about. Blossom Apprentice can be very annoying, because there are a bunch of hothead minions. Means you can't keep any of your own minions on the board for too long. But I'm doing damage with poison, so I'm not all too concerned about that. They do have Swift Strike. That's a bit annoying because I can't really block them with my 1-drops, but I can just kill them with playing poison spells, so I'm gonna hex the enemy. Also causes to lose a minion. So yeah, the Vital Edge is gonna do a lot of work here, because the enemy is gonna play a lot of these Blossom Apprentices. And at some point the Xenia is gonna get the focus upped. Once that happens, they'll play a bunch of Blossom Apprentices for free, but I have the Poison Puff Grenade in hand to deal with that. So the enemy just kind of lost their entire turn 4. I think I'll play a Lustra Star Scale. It's the only thing that really makes sense to play right now. Maybe I get some dragons out of it. So, gonna go Bomb Riff. Do want to play Wretch at some point as well. I think now is an okay moment. I guess I'll take the Spore Whisper with extra thorns. Trample on a 1-power minion doesn't make sense, and this 1 health on Lieutenant Juniper is whatever. And yeah. Oh yeah, that was. So 7 power. Looks concerning, but it only has 1 health, so it dies to a breeze. And I have some healing as well. I'm not even losing S rank right now, though, notably. Wild Aces, wanna scale that as well. It's a bit of a waste since I guess I don't need to play Poison Puff Grenade. I can just block the Blossom Apprentices. Add some more poison. Haven't played a single katana this game, like, up until now. Kind of funny. Usually happens a lot earlier. And so I still have to think about overkill, which I can place Lush Hex at 4 poison. Get a 6 power flyer minion. Actually, no, discard 5 poisons, because I still have 1 in hand, so that's 7. Seven is not enough. I need to deal 1 more damage to the enemies now. Let's see if I can make that happen with like the Bootskin Ancient. This does it, I think. So, add 2 poisons, add 4 poisons. That's 7 poisons, that's 9 damage, and that's enough to overkill. So make sure to play the Spore Whisper first. Otherwise it will get the buff instead of the add poison effect. Again, a gazillion poisons. Convert that into stats and kill them. So yeah, Glad I picked up that flying guy. Alright, so there is a Hexy who summons groupies, which I don't care about. Starsky Dance Groove, I don't care about. Enchanted Armor, when my opponent plays spells, gain stats. It's kind of interesting, because I forced the enemy to play spells by adding poisons into their hand. So once I get this down, I basically have guard forever. Blood Oath for some extra draw is a thing, I guess. Lustra's Potion is kind of interesting. It's a spell I can play on something like Lustra Starscale. Regain Barrier, gain Relentless to revive, and just trigger the summon effect one more time. Or just another Poison Puff Grenade and a Noxious Sapper for some single target removal. Single target removal is also appreciated against that enemy. I am going slow, so I do kind of have to think about how to deal with the big late game threats. I think guard can help me do that, so this kind of allows me to get more lifesteal going. A lot of helps me with the draw. So yeah, kind of like this pack. Can look at some more cards. And there is a Juniper. There's also a Maya Mush Dragon. There's also a Consume though. Devour a minion, gain armor equal to its health. That can potentially be a lot of armor. Mush Fellow Knight gains poison, gives the enemy poison when I take damage. I mean, I've just seen that the Vile Shade is a good enough win condition, and the Maya Mush Dragon doesn't have rush. So kind of leaning towards Gyric. Big source of lifesteal, big stats, and Consume for the single target removal. Can I add a lot of single copies of minions? But with Wretch I can always look for the one that suits me the most, so kind of don't mind the way the deck is built. 4 shop cards is quite expensive, but yeah, I'll still have money to look at. Trinkets. I'm probably skipping the free relic. I don't think there's a lot of relics that are better than the Vital Edge. Go to the Shiver Pool though. So I can look at spells, but I don't have money to buy them. I could add some Blood Whelps, but yeah, I don't have the time to build around those. So I dip into the I bottle its no, hold on. I soak into pool. Right. Second option. New Blitzburst. And I'm not actually seeing the get like play 6 minions, get +3/+3. Instead there's freeze 8 minions and then destroy the frozen minions. I don't have any free spells, that doesn't do anything. Summon 4 Shrubber and then summon even more Shrubber. I don't have any of those, so those are useless. Or destroy 6 frozen minions and then devour a random card at the opponent's deck. Not destroying any frozen minions or even freezing them, so I do have one reroll though. And yeah, now I see Steel Tempest, no Kadana, so that doesn't do anything. Octorum check, that's the Blitzburst I used in the In the blue deck campaign, it's actually really fun. When you play 3 dishes, summon a Jewel Muncher, which is an 18/18 with an animate. So it doesn't attack, but it has a bunch of stats. And then when you play it again, you remove an animate from it. The Blitzblitz itself is kind of hard to trigger. You have to play 6 dishes to make the Jewel Muncher attack. However, inanimate is a keyword. You can remove keywords with silence, and the blue deck does have a spell which silences your own minions. It only costs 1 mana. 3 dishes is very achievable, even when you don't strictly build around the cooking thing. So yeah, what you do is you play 3 dishes, you summon the Jewel Monster, you silence your own minions, and then you have an 18/18 on the board, and let the enemy figure out how to deal with that then. But yeah, what I'm interested in is play 6 minions and basically give all your minions +3/+3. I don't play that many minions, but I play enough of them that I'm gonna get this up eventually. And it's gonna be good with like Wild Shade Phantom, which has Rush and Flying, Gyric, which has Lifesteal. Lustra also kind of appreciates it, so it's not gonna be the best version of this, I can see, but it's gonna do more than my current Blitzburst for sure. Alright, Reg, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter whether I draw him now or whether I draw him because of the Nimble Ribbon. I'm keeping the Slush Hex. I'm keeping the Poison Puff Grenade. Yeah, that's kind of good against the fish. And I guess I'm keeping the... yeah, I'm keeping the whole hand. So kind of like the extra draw. Yeah. I had a poison. And 2 poisons. I like that. Then draw 2. Can I draw 2? Yes, I can. Nice. Yeah, Vital Edge just doing a lot of chip damage here. Next turn I have the Poison Puff Grenade ready. I can also just play a very big Spore Whisper. Like 4 poisons, that's a 5/5 I'm getting here. Then I can get my Enchanted Armor down. Just gonna get a bunch of buffs once the enemy decides to get rid of those poisons. Also, fun thing about the Blitzburst, it is a card in your deck. And that means that if it's a different color from the first mercenaries he picked, it will buff the Gyric. So I'm actually having a 13/13 Gyric right now. Usually you're gonna see it being a 10/10 if you pick 2 minions, because you're gonna have 2 colors. And yeah, it's like a 4/4 at base, and then has +3/+3 for the first colors, +3/+3 for the second, so 10/10. But now that I have the Blitzburst, it's a 13/13. Very fun if I see Trample, but even without Trample, I have some good removal tools as well. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna poison puff nade, get rid of all this garbage. Now the enemies get busy getting rid of all those poisons, but that's gonna make my enchanted armor invincible. Gives me time to get the wretch down. Overgrow Grove Keeper doesn't do anything. Just makes it more expensive. Lieutenant Juniper with double stats. That's interesting. I'm not really using Lieutenant Juniper right now, but I appreciate that more than the +2 health on the Petal Mage. And if I find a good extra power up on Lieutenant Juniper, that could be pretty good. So yeah, let's go with that. Like the Spore Whisper is a pretty good win con here as well, actually. Play a Slush Hex. And then like get it down for +4 or something. And since I'm strangling the enemy with poison and removal spells, the enemy doesn't have any time to deal with the Spore Whisper, and the Spore Whisper is gonna chip the enemy down. Basically playing a blue deck. Also, fun thing I can do with the Consume. Enchanted armor isn't doing anything. Just get 15 armor. So I get now I'm seeing yellow cards, of course, because I picked up the Blitz Burst. Mono Crop for 4. Makes legendary minion cost 1 less because of the bird. What does that do? Gyric for 6, Wretch for 4. Although this is 4 mana, so that one doesn't matter. Juniper for 3. I'm not convinced. Banking Glimmer doesn't do anything. I could pick up a Serene Herb with draw 2 attached to it. Kind of like the Vino Capsule. Bunch of keywords. Basically what it does, it just clears the column in front of it. That's the summary. But yeah, it also adds some poison, so that's kind of cool. And another Venom Shade, Valshade Phantom, which might sort of be my win con. Poison Puff Nade is... I mean, it's good, but I don't need more. I'm getting a good amount of removal power from my Vital Edge. And yeah, I'm just looking at 2 trinket shops. Plus damage. I'm just gonna put that on the nade. Flying. Flying could go on Gyric, I guess. I'd prefer Trample, but I'm fine with flying. Make sure that thing can finish the game. +1 health is not interesting. I don't have money for Hothead on Juniper. Is there anything else that likes Hothead? Yeah, I don't have money for Hothead on Gyric either. Although with now that it has flying, it doesn't matter. But like, it would have been good for the lifesteal. Inanimate. Is there anything that cares about inanimate? mean, if anything, it would be Lustra. Makes her attack less, but it also means that I get more Infina Rift triggers out of her. Do kind of vibe with that. I mean, it doesn't make or break anything, so sure, let's just see where that goes. And then I can put the +1 power on the mage or the Binu Capsule. Binu Capsule has dual strike, so maybe it'll do something with the +1 power. Make it have 5 power once I get my ult. Alright, Demon Rishu. I like this lineup, a bunch of poison cards for the early game and one of my win cons in hand. The enemy does sort of counter me with the Vital Edge. The Vital Edge means that whenever the enemy plays poisons, that's it's gonna kill my minions. On the other hand, I can also just not play any minions while I'm poisoning the enemy. And Strivik is healthy enough to survive the Vital Edge onslaught. Vile Shade Phantom is discarding all the poisons, so the enemy won't have any more poisons to play. And Enchanted Armor gets more health than it loses when the Vital Edge is activated. So yeah. I just get armor, which counteracts my poison a little bit. I'm just gonna destroy that for extra draw. I'm taking 5 poison damage. Just refusing to play any poison cards. Can't play them. It's not fun to play poison. I'm fine with losing a little bit of health here, because I do have the Jivik in hand, which is probably gonna be my win con here. I can play 2 super buffed Spore Whispers. Like Grove Keeper. Then the enemy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 poisons. So that's 2 7/7s on the board. The enemy is still refusing to play any poison. They played 1. Let's just see where the bomb rift goes. Nice. 4 kills. Two more minions, and I'm also getting my ult. I could make that happen right now, in fact. Which would give me lethal. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. +3. Yeah, now everything dies. Extremely powerful deck. Really, Lustra kind of didn't do much in this deck, completely pivoted away, but at least I got to try out the new poison deck. Blood Charm is the most recent addition, and things like Slush Hex and Vileshade have been added to make poison stronger, which was a little bit underpowered before that. But yeah, definitely paid off. Just the sheer amount of poison I can add to the enemy deck, where they either lose entire turns or they just keep taking like 3, 4, 5 chip damage every turn. There was no struggle in this fight at all. There are some decks that hard counter poison quite a bit. You just need to know where those fights are, and then once you avoid them, it's pretty hard to beat. So that's the Frostpeak Shrine already done. I'm definitely gonna record more gameplay in the Frostfall Shrine once I start doing like synergies showcases. Frostfall Peak is gonna be one of my go-to maps, just because it has the least restrictive deck building, and it also has the most interesting events in my opinion. I mean, most interesting events probably go to Starscape Plains, but Starscape Plains also very specific in what decks benefit from them. I think Frostfall Shrine gives access to some more like widely useful event choices. Next time I'm gonna move on to Sproutwood, which, yeah, once again I'm gonna go over the difficulty modifiers. I won't be able to say much about the bosses because they are pretty new. I mean, I have beaten all of those at least once, but I don't know all the ins and outs of those yet. Yeah. I think I might actually do that all in one video, because I'm probably gonna use the same strategy for every map, just because there is a pretty fanny mask on this one. Combat start: if you have 5 or more cards in your hand, discard 1. Very annoying, because in a lot of cases you like to have more than 5 cards in your hand and you don't like to lose random cards, but gee, I wonder whether there's any deck that likes having random cards discarded. Like, is there any mercenary which just completely turns this map into a slaughter? I don't know. I guess you just will have to wait and see. How am I gonna solve that super difficult modifier? But yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit cheesy, but the bosses are quite difficult, and you also got the limitation on spells. After you play a spell, deal 1 damage to a hero, which is also not particularly fun. Restricts certain decks quite a lot, so I will not feel bad about cheesing the heck out of the Sproutwoods. So that's where I'm gonna end the episode. See ya and goodbye.